So the week from the 22nd to the 26th of April 2013 was my work experience, and for my work experience I went to a radio station. So I thought to myself, when we were originally told about our work experiences, I don't really want to be doing a crap one, to be honest. I didn't want to spend the week sweeping floors or anything, so I thought to myself, what can I do that could possibly be beneficial for a career path? So then I thought, how about something like radio or music? So then I contacted Kane FM, and they were really happy to have me on board to do my work experience with them. What's that? What's Kane FM? Kane FM was originally a pirate radio station, which has recently become, well, not recently, over the past few years, has become a fully licensed legal community radio station through Ofcom. They're a non-profit organisation giving a platform for local DJs and producers to get out there, where previously there wasn't any way to express themselves and give out their music and tell people about themselves. They play music such as hip-hop, drum and bass, dubstep, reggae, soul, jazz, funk, house, electronica, dance and electro swing. And yes, I was just reading that from a list in front of me. They also do local club nights run by a selected DJ. I think they're one a month or something like that. I obviously haven't been because I'm not old enough. One of the tasks for my work experience, which I had to do over the week, was compile a list of songs for a 1 hour show I would get to do on the Friday. So from Monday through Thursday I would arrange the songs, and then on Friday I'd have an entire hour of live show. Right, so now to tell you about what I did for my week. Monday! Monday morning I was, well, one of the most nervous times that I'd ever been in my life. I was literally shaking. I remember my dad saying to me, "Ed, why are you shaking?" And I was just like, I don't know, I'm just really nervous. Meeting new people, experiencing... I didn't want to muck up, basically. I knew if I'd mucked up, bam, I would ruin a chance of having a good week if I mucked up on the first day. So I wanted to get off to a successful start. I arrived at the studio at 10:30 and met a woman called Jenny Ann. So Jenny Ann showed me in and showed me around the building. And then Jenny Ann took me around a safety brief, which my school was very insistent on doing. They were like, you will have a safety brief. Make sure you have a safety brief because you could die. Yes. And then after the safety brief, I went and sat in on the show with a guy called Alex Wax, who was a lovely person. In fact, everyone at the station was really lovely. So when I sat in with Alex, he was talking and introducing each tracks, saying what label they're on, and I was like, oh my god, on Friday I have to do this myself. How is this guy such a pro? In between, when he was talking, was just such a lovely character, lovely, hilarious guy, just chatting and just talking about music and just talking about stuff. I really felt like he was welcoming me into the Kane community and the Kane family, because he was the first person, apart from Jenny Ann, that I'd met from the station, and he was just so upbeat and pleasant. It just gave me... all the nerves that I had just out the window from meeting Alex. After Alex's show was a guy called Red 5, and he had the Crooked Beats show, and it had a guy called Chris G featuring in it. Chris is from a group thing called Unwanted Family, link for them down in the bottom thing. Sitting in on Red 5 and Chris G's Crooked Beats show was just unbelievably hilarious. Unbelievably hilarious. Such a brilliant bunch of characters, just constantly laughing. I don't think there was a time I went more than a minute and a half without laughing my head off. And then was lunch, which I ate food in, so we'll skip that. After lunch, there was about half an hour of the Crooked Beats show left, and I sat in for that. And then a guy called Clifford was up next. Clifford was sort of like an old school garage kind of DJ, so he had loads of old garage tunes from the 90s, and a thing called Future Garage, which is future-y garage, I guess. But Clifford had fallen off his skateboard a few days previous, and so he'd really mucked up his right hand. And it was funny, because Clifford, unlike Alex, when he was doing his show, he picked out the CDs that he was playing one by one, whereas Alex had all preloaded it. Clifford was flicking through, and he would go and pick a CD up with his right hand and go, "Ow, no, not that hand!" Which was just... I mean, I tried not to laugh, but it was just hilarious. And then, yeah, it got to 3 o'clock, and I went home. Tuesday. So Tuesday, I didn't spend the day at the station at all. I went to a place called The Guide to Surrey. The Guide to Surrey is a company that have this website, which basically, they have all the things that go on in Guildford and surrounding areas, and they just tell you all about all the stuff that's going on in the community, offers at shops, vouchers and stuff like that. At the Guide Sorry, I learned how to promote and run like the social media side of a radio station. So like running the Twitter, running the Facebook, and running the main websites. I did that for about the first 2 hours or so, and then the rest of the day I spent looking up songs for my show on Friday. By the end of the day, I'd compiled a list of around 35 songs, and it had to be between 10 and 14, so I was way over. Wednesday. Now, if you're looking for an action-packed day, then Wednesday definitely wasn't that. Don't get me wrong, I enjoyed Wednesday, it's just, it wasn't really the most, awe-inspiring, amazing day. The only thing I actually did on Wednesday was just cut down the list of songs that I had. So from my point of view, it was an amazing day. I got to just listen to music the whole day and decide which songs I definitely play, which songs were, I could play that, and which songs I was like, no. Yesterday I don't know what I was smoking to decide I liked that song. So that was basically all that happened on Wednesday. Thursday. Yeah. So Thursday I arrived at 12:30. Half 12? I got to start my day at 12:30. How brilliant is that? But unlike the other days when I'd finished at 3, I had to finish at 5:30, so there were some negatives to starting late. Although, I wouldn't call the reason why I had to stay until 5:30 a negative. I spent the day sitting in on Jazzy M's show. Now, Jazzy M is former Ministry of Sound. This guy knows what he's talking about. He's got like 30 years experience. He's toured 80 countries with the Ministry of Sound. So you've got him, who's like a pro, and then you've got me, who's doing my first ever radio show the next day. So, I don't think you could get more contrasting characters. And Jazzy's show was just a laugh. He was having us a, deep house special or something. So yeah, it was all housey music, so yeah. And then Thursday evening, the nerves just hit me. Literally, I was like, that's how bad they were, I couldn't talk. So naturally I got barely any sleep, leading on to Friday! The big day! The show day, the thing, yeah. I arrived in the studio at 12:30, and I was only really needed to get there at 11, but I had to get there at 12:30 due to family reasons. So yeah, I arrived half an hour earlier than I should have done. Fortunately, Pabs was in at the time, so I sat in for his show for an hour and a half. I basically just spent Pabs' show telling my friends about what was going on with my show and when it was starting, and like basically how you can text in, how you can write into the show. And then at 10 to 12, Jazzy showed up. Pabs introduced his last song and left the room. It was time for me to do my sound check. Jazzy showed me how to basically you had to pull the audio of the normal track down if you wanted to talk, and then pull the mic's volume all the way up, but you had to pull it down, so just enough so you wouldn't be like talking, like say there was a song at this volume, and you were talking at this volume, it wouldn't drown you out, but it wasn't too quiet so the song completely goes, and so when you come back up, it literally goes, hey, like that. So I learned how to adjust the audio from when I was talking, and then we did the actual audio check, which was basically me just going 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. The ads began, which meant I only had about 3 minutes until my show began to begin. Began to begin? No, that's not right. The ads stopped. Jazzy was stood behind me, and he was going to produce the show, and he had all these, what are they called? Jingles, thank you. He had all these jingles on this memory stick, which he had put into the device. I don't know its technical term. I'm just going to call it the device, like the big master device. And he clicked play onto it, but he brought the wrong jingles with him. So instead of it saying the High Noon Show, it said the High Noon Mix. And so he realised halfway through. So he got it to go, the High Noon So he just cut it out on it. So if you listen to the show, it actually just goes, the High Noon at points, which is hilarious. So we pressed play on my first song. I was so nervous, but within about 5 minutes, or not even that, my friends started texting in, my family started texting in, and so within about the first 10 minutes, I was completely calm. And after that, I was just completely loving it. So about halfway through the show, I basically just began to sit back and just talk rubbish, basically. And there's this absolutely brilliant few minutes where I just talk so much random stuff. And the link to the whole show is in the description, so you can listen to it there. Suddenly, I looked up to the clock, and it said 10 to 1. So my show only had 10 minutes left. I couldn't believe how fast it had gone. So when my final song started, I didn't even get to say goodbye. I didn't even get to sign out. Because basically, the adverts came in, they automatically came in, so you didn't have to press it, otherwise that's another thing I would have mucked up. They came in on 59, so if you had like a 2-hour show, it would come in on 1 hour 59 minutes. So for my show it came on in 59 minutes. So my songs kept playing because I forgot about the ads at the start running over, so it wasn't exactly an hour, it was about 56 minutes. And so the song went quiet at one point. It was a quiet part in the song. It's Internet Friends by Knife Party, in case you know the song. And this ad's just come in and go, Kane FM, like that. And I'm like, oh god, the song's still playing. You can still hear the song in the background. And so I literally turned to the console and just went, BAM, on this pause button. Thank God it didn't pause the entire radio, which I wouldn't know how to fix. But it just stopped my songs, which I was so relieved about. So that was my show. Afterwards, I basically was like, right, I'm going to go get some lunch. I strolled down the street. The sun had come out. It was a beautiful afternoon. I went and I got... What did I get? I can't remember. It was either a pasty or a sausage roll or something. I got one of those two. And then I began to walk back to the station... And I decided I'm just going to sit down on this fence and just take it all in for a few minutes, take in what I'd just done. So I sat down on the fence, finished my pasty, opened my bottle of Dr Pepper. It went all over me. Thank you. So yeah, I was soaked when I had to go back into the studio for about an hour. And then when my dad picked me up, I came out of the main building. I saw my dad in the car and I literally just went... That's how hyper I was from the experience. So all in all, I don't think I could imagine a better work experience that I could have gone on. I learnt stuff, I met great people, I had a brilliant time, I listened to a new genres of music I'd never listened to before. I can't think of anything better I could have done. Thank you so much to everyone at Kane FM who let me come and experience what it's like to be at a radio station. I would recommend it to anyone who's interested in radio and the way it works, because it was just absolutely amazing. One of the best experiences of my entire life.